Brilliance Audio presents Rival Sisters by Louise Guy, performed by Kat Gould. Nat braced herself, inched the front door open and slipped inside. Her father was going to kill her. She'd promised to be home by 5 for her mother's birthday celebration, and it was now just after 7. Hopefully they wouldn't have done the cake yet, and she could redeem herself with a few nice words. Relief settled over her as she saw that the hallway was clear, allowing her another minute or two before she felt the full force of her parents' disappointment. She sighed as she shook off her winter coat and opened the hall closet. If only they could remember being 15 and in love for the first time. In love? Did she love Callum? She smiled at the memory of being wrapped in his strong arms, the tingle of his lips on hers. Footsteps clattered in the hallway, causing Nat to freeze. She was just able to make out her older sister's lean frame through the join in the closet door. She let out a breath and took a hanger from the rack. "Thank God it's you. Dad's going to go mental that I'm so late. Can you back me up when I tell him Perry asked me to do a few extra hours at the newsagent?" Nat finished hanging her coat, closed the closet door and grinned as she turned to Hannah. "Sorry to ask you to lie again, but he's way too overprotective when it comes to me and boys." Her grin slipped as she took in her sister's pale, tear-stained face. She hurried over to her. "Han, what's happened? You look awful." The vein in Hannah's forehead twitched, a sign that usually meant she was upset or angry. Nat was sure she hadn't done anything to cause this kind of reaction in her sister. In fact, she couldn't remember the last time they'd even argued. They were usually extremely close. Only that morning they'd been talking about their annual Christmas in July party that was just over a week away, and Hannah had laughed at how it surprised her friend Abby that she and Nat threw a joint party. "Abby can't stand her sister and has never understood how you and I choose to spend time together," she'd said. "It makes me realise how lucky we are." Looking at Hannah's face now, Nat wasn't sure her sister was feeling the same as she had been earlier in the day. "Where have you been? You've been missing for hours. You can't just go anywhere you like without keeping in touch." Hannah's voice shook as she forced the words out. But it wasn't anger that tinged her words. It was something else, something Nat couldn't put her finger on. A sudden and overwhelming sense of dread settled over her. Her throat constricted with panic as confused thoughts swirled in her mind. She'd lied to her parents, but she'd told Hannah of her real plans. Hannah had been happy to cover for her, as she always was. It was one of the things she loved most about her sister. She could always count on her. So why was she making Nat feel like she'd done something wrong? Maybe she just needed a gentle reminder. Then everything would be okay. "Han, I told you I'd be with Callum. Did you forget?" "I called Callum's mum, but she had no idea where you were. You're not to disappear like that again." Nat's stomach churned. Not only was Hannah upset with her, she'd called Callum's mum. Her parents would freak if they knew she'd been with him. "Do Mum and Dad know where I was?" Hannah shook her head before closing her eyes momentarily. She looked completely distraught. Nat continued to stare at her sister. She should feel relieved that Hannah had covered for her, but she felt anything but relief. Pain was etched deep in Hannah's face. "Han, what's wrong? What's happened?" Hannah wrapped her arms around her body, her bottom lip trembling as she opened her eyes. "You're scaring me. Where are Mum and Dad?" Philly appeared in the hallway behind Hannah, wringing her hands together, her lips forced into a tight smile. "Come and sit down, love. We've some bad news, I'm afraid." Hannah stifled a sob as the words left their grandmother's lips, causing the skin to prickle on Nat's arms. She reluctantly followed Philly into the living room and sat on the couch next to her. Philly took a deep breath, wiping her eyes on the back of her sleeve before meeting Nat's gaze. "There's been an accident, love." Nausea swirled with the nerves in the pit of Nat's stomach. Hannah was now sobbing quietly, her face buried in her hands. "It's your mum. She had an accident on the horse. A bad one, I'm afraid.